evening. We have several policies that we're going to look at with just some small changes. To have that conversation, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Sevier to talk about 1.901, 903, 904, 905, and 906.
Thank you, Chair. Richard, if you would switch over to the agenda page that we bookmarked, that'd be helpful. Thank you. Sort of taking these as a block, and these will look very familiar to you because we did so much work on them previously. But as we made one last pass through this, I'm fighting this mouse for just a minute. So if you'll let me, the mouse is winning. Present. As we went through these, we realized we could make good, great, and realized that there are actually some confusing terms in there. The term chartering authority is a sort of term of art for an entity that, in this case, would grant the ability for a charter school to operate. And in our state, we have two. We have the local school district and the chartering commission, or the Charter School Commission, the State Charter School Commission. So as you see, we just kind of did a strike through, and everywhere it fell upon the school district, we put LEA for Local Education Agency, which is the term we use in policy. And when it was not, it was commission. You can see there's another example right there where things have changed relative to reporting of things, to the board. Those now go to the State Board of Education. I'm just scrolling through those so you can see visually what I'm telling you and verify that. We did also strike out a report that is arcane, that no longer exists, relative to a September 1 report that is not applicable anymore. But other than that, I'll answer any questions about any of those you have, 901, 903, 4, 5, or 6. But otherwise, I think it's pretty straightforward.
Any questions or discussion? All right, seeing none, then may I have a motion to approve 1.901, 903, 904, 905, and 906?
So moved. Second.
All right, it's been first and seconded. All those in favor of approving those 5 with these changes, please raise your hand. All right, that's unanimous. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And in the similar vein, just to make it better, the TSSAA uses sort of a peculiar term related to residency. They refer, what we refer to as a school zone, they refer to as a school territory. And just so, I think that so they can use that as sort of a capture of private schools and public schools under one sort of terminology. Just to make it clear, we did change this relative to the homeschool participation component that says homeschool students shall be permitted to participate at the school to which they are zoned. Just added that phrase in there so there's no ambiguity about if they were to go look at the TSSAA regulations and rules, that they would say, well, I live in the county, that's the territory, like it's your zone. And it just clears that up.
Do we have any questions about 4.301, excuse me? All right, seeing no questions about 4.301, may I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Then first and seconded. All those in favor of these changes to 4.301, please raise your hand. All right, that's unanimous. Thank you so much, Dr. Sevier.
Thank you. And I'm going to pass it back to you. And I believe, Dr. Bowler, you're going to handle the next discussion. Thank you.
All right. That gets us to the school calendar and the special election that's coming up and our decisions about it. For that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Adrienne Battle.
Thanks so much. Board Member Elrod, I'm actually going to invite up Chief of Operations Maura Sullivan to walk us through this next agenda item, which encompasses the special election and a recommendation for some tweaks to our school calendar to accommodate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Battle. As you know, at the last governance meeting, we brought to you the fact that October 7th and December 2nd have been called by Governor Lee to be a special election to fill a U.S. representative seat. And this, of course, as we mentioned before, was called just recently after you had already approved and set our calendar for the year. So now we do have about 20 sites that will be involved in this election, and using our values, keeping ourselves grounded in our values of protection of instructional time and protection of our students and keeping our schools as safe as possible. We have the following recommendation to offer. To accommodate the October 7th election day, we will swap the instructional day that was scheduled for the 7th with October 10th, that Friday, which was to be a scheduled professional development day. Students will therefore not be in school, and teachers and staff will be able to accomplish their needed professional development activities that week, but on the 7th. October 10th will be listed as a regular day of instruction on the calendar, and this is where it'll get a little confusing, but this is what we have to do to accomplish the number of days that our students need to be in school. And then Dr. Battle, through her powers, will be able to declare October 10th as an emergency event day as we approach that day. School will not end up being held that day, and we will be able to begin the fall break. Now, this has to be approved by the state, as we do with any time that we have an inclement weather day or any other kind of emergency event. The state law gives the director of schools the ability to declare such a day for illness, for unsafe conditions in the building, for inclement weather, et cetera. You're most used to seeing those as snow days. So, and then the December 2nd election day recommendation is a little more straightforward. We had 2 professional development days scheduled in January 5th and 6th. Our recommendation is to swap January 6th for the December 2nd election day. So it's more of a straightforward swap. But they both actually are straightforward for your action because you're just swapping October 7th and October 10th on the calendar, and then December 2nd and January 6th on the calendar. So that's our recommendation. Made this recommendation after talking to lots and lots of stakeholders, including our bus drivers union, our SEIU partners, our MNEA partners, other teachers, other members of the community, as well as families and even some students and principals. So that's our recommendation, and happy to answer any questions.
All right, looks like we have some questions. I'll start with Chair Player, and then we'll talk with Abigail and Zach.
So I was listening, but I'm still processing. So can you repeat again? So we're swapping the 10th and the 7th? Explain that.
Yes, October 7th and 10th we'll swap, and then December 2nd and January 6th we'll swap.
Okay, make sure I got it. Thank you.
Can I just highlight the October 10th day was already a non-instructional student day, so there's no impact to families for that day.
Correct. Thank you for that.
Member Tyler?
Yes. How certain are we that we will get the ability to waive the 10th if it will be on the calendar as an official school day, and that we're going to use an inclement weather day for that? And since it's not technically the election day itself.
Yep. So 2 things. One, you heard Chief Sullivan nicely describe what inclement weather days can be used for. This is about safety of our students and staff, and so given that, we would like to apply for the inclement weather day under those conditions. The second thing is I had the opportunity of convening with other superintendents who are being impacted by this recently, and I will tell you this is consistent with the ways in which they're approaching their calendars as well. So this will not be just an MNPS approach to how to deal with the election days, but pretty consistent, of course, of what's happening in the Mid-Cumberland area of the districts that are impacted.
Okay, has anybody spoken to anybody at the state to get,
We have attempted to reach out. We've not heard back yet, but it's not been a long runway. So we do anticipate to hear something back soon.
I mean, I think it's great. I just want to make sure that
Absolutely.
we don't get stuck.
Absolutely. We would not, pending approval, we would actually try to confirm approval if any is needed. We still are unsure if it's even needed at this point, but we want to just dot our i's and cross our t's. We would not communicate anything out fully until we have that. So we've already tried to start making contact to see if we can get some pre-approvals or at least some fast ones.
Member Young.
Thank you, Chair. So on our agenda and our packet for this evening, it has for us, let me read it. It just says school calendar, special education. And fine, but I guess, but as far as is there an actual, and I don't know the mechanics of this, what are we necessarily voting on tonight, I guess is my question. Like, is there just the calendar change? Is that what it, okay,
That's
okay,
correct.
Yeah, an amendment to the calendar.
okay. Oh, sorry.
Thank you for saying that forcefully.
Member O'Hara Block.
Just for purposes of discussing publicly, gosh, what's going on with the mics? Are they jumping at us? I'm assuming that part of what Chief Sullivan, when you referenced it, in terms of talking with bus drivers and SEIU members and other folks, is that part of that is about making sure that our staff have the ability to have the day to vote themselves as well? Is that part of the consideration with staff? And I know that's an intention that we often have.
Yeah, so yes, that was part of the discussion itself. We needed to check for a few things. One, clarity around like why this is even needed. We wanted to account for some of the pillars that Chief Sullivan mentioned, safety being a top priority for us. We needed to check against the school calendar. We just wanted to make sure that we were considering voting, all the things that are necessary for us to balance this out. Now, on October 7th and December 2nd, teachers will be in PD both
Correct.
days. But that does in itself allow for some
More flexibility. Yeah. And then the other question is, in part because we're just voting on generally a calendar change, how will it be communicated to staff and families and students, et cetera?
Yeah, this has been a pretty intensive cross collaborative effort. So our communications team has already started to draft up what the communication will look like in the simplest, most visually understandable ways. So we would we would use our socials, we would use our website. We plan on also using our email system. I think we might be also planning for a call out. So we're going to try to overly communicate this change for the community. And of course, our school teams will be critical in just also continuing to share the information.
I just want to make sure for clarity from looking at Friday's director's report and of course the conversation we're having today. So students will not report on the 7th, October 7th. They will not report on October 10th, and they will not report on December 2nd, but they will report on January 6th.
That is correct.
Got it. My only concern is with students not having to report on the 7th and the 10th, there are these 2 days. are we concerned about families potentially being like, let's really extend this fall break? Is there a way that we can communicate, or are we already planning to communicate with them the importance of still not missing those instructional days?
Yeah, of course. And I think the team that dug into this, I mean, we tried to weigh the pros and cons of each. They will still be attendance days. They are also the first few days of the second quarter of the school year. So we will continue to emphasize that, but also keep in mind the 10th was already a non-instructional day for students.
No, I think it is the best option out of not the best options, because they're not something we were in control of. So I appreciate that there's going to be some additional attention drawn to it, to families, and making sure they understand the importance of starting off your quarter correct, and the importance of attendance. Some families are going to do it because that's just what families might do. But as much as we can mitigate that, of course, for our attendance, the
Yeah.
best.
And we'll, of course, encourage our families to do the right thing. Part of this is also being responsive just to the safety concerns that have been heightened over the years, given the elections and school happening at the same time. So through our attendance planning and attendance incentives and campaign, we'll continue to push that all the way through fall break.
It's my understanding from talking with you and some others of the staff, I know that this process took a lot within internal staff groups, and then also talking with some principal groups and some other stuff. So I appreciate how cross-sectional you were with trying to make sure that it didn't affect students or teachers or pay schedules as much as possible. So I appreciate this attempt, particularly because we have been trying so hard to not have schools open during election cycles, for security concerns have been brought up, not only by board members, but by our families and our staff. And I see Dr. Donna McKinney, you have a question.
Yeah, thank you. I apologize for my tardiness, but I was listening online. And so just have a quick question about the inclement weather days. I know we will be borrowing one of those inclement weather days. What happens if we go over the 4 that are left? Can you kind of talk us through that?
I think it's 5 that will be left. And so part of the communication and this recommendation is just putting everyone on notice that if we were to go over those 5 days, that we do have 2 virtual days at our disposal. So if it was looking like we were going to get to that point, we will begin our communications and preparation, that in the event we needed to, we could leverage those 2 virtual days. Again, I mean, I'll highlight, we're not the only district that's impacted by this. And there is just no ideal situation. We spent quite a bit of time, as one example, with our principals, talking through this, and they quickly realized that there's pros and cons to every way you can kind of slice this and accomplish what we're trying to accomplish here. And so we're trying to just bring forth the least disruptive and the one that really supports, again, the priority around safety, but also protecting instructional time, as well as the professional development and learning time for our educators.
Thank you for your thoughtfulness and the work that you all put into this. I just wanted to clarify that so that we had it on record. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, it looks like there's no further questions. In order for us to bring it forward at our board meeting, can I have a motion for us to have a vote on an amendment to the calendar?
Motion made. We'll have to spell it out.
No, the motion would be to have an amendment to our school
Motion
calendar.
to have an amendment to our school calendar.
And it's been first and seconded. All right, all those in favor of that, please raise your hand. All right, that's unanimous. Thank you so much. All right, be there no further business, this meeting is adjourned in record time. Thank you.